Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Football Manager 2022. The beta has been released. It is literally about 15 minutes after the beta has come out. I've just downloaded it, I've gone through a bunch of settings, I've made my manager. We are obviously going to be in charge of Swansea City for my beta save. If you're looking forward to it, do please be sure to make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can hit the notification bell as well so you get notified whenever new videos are released. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. So obviously, as I literally just installed the game, I haven't looked at anything like this. So we are going to go down to just League 2, I think. There's no point going any further than that. I don't believe there's going to be any new leagues. It doesn't look like there are any new leagues. Canada is in by default now, which I think used to be a downloadable league. Latvia's in by default? Excuse me? If you're not sure why, I'm confused as to why that's a thing. I've literally just done a building a nation save with Latvia and I had to have a custom database. That's really annoying. So looking at the other nations there, I don't think there's anyone new other than Latvia, which is very, very confusing to me. And here we are then, into the game. The start of it obviously looks pretty similar to the last couple of seasons. So we've been hired as the Swansea City manager. We've got a little bit of information. We pretty much know quite a lot about Swansea. Fierce rivals there, obviously Cardiff, which is hopefully going to be something that we're going to be able to have an episode on fairly soon. Let's stick myself down here. Might be a bit easier to see. So, interestingly, the best 11 is a 5-2-2-1 formation, which is a bit confusing to me, but that's fair enough. We've got a few players in on loan, one from Liverpool, obviously Reece Williams, Ethan Laird from Manchester United as well. I mean, I don't know a huge amount about Swansea, so I'm going to try and learn a little bit as we go as well. Julian Winter, the chairperson, has said a few things about what is expected. I can't agree to this. In a few days we can discuss any changes, but top half in the Championship is a big one. Reach the minimum round of 4 in the FA Cup, a third round in the Carabao Cup. Fair enough. Work towards becoming self-sustainable. That's a new one. That is definitely a new one. So that is basically what they want us to do. And then within 3 or 4 seasons, they want us to get promoted back to the Premier League. We do also get the meetings, the backroom staff meetings as well. We'll do it weekly for the moment. We might change that as things go on because it might get fairly boring. It might also be really interesting and we want to keep them weekly, but I feel like I'm probably going to change it to every fortnight or maybe even once a month. One thing I'm definitely going to have to do is change this view because I like to have my stars and a whole bunch of other stuff on the screen because there's a lot of wasted space, so I'll sort that out probably in between this episode and maybe the next episode, not quite sure. I don't know a huge amount about the team. If we go to Best 11, where did we get Best 11 from? I swear it used to be here. Have they moved it? They have moved it. It's now under Squad and Assistant Report, and we don't have a tactic selected, which is fair enough. Right, so we are going to go for an out-of-the-box tactic. That's the plan. I think tiki-taka. We're going to try and be the Barcelona of Wales. That's the plan. That's what we're going to go for, and they reckon a 4-3-3, which I'm okay with, although this is obviously the generic formation, or one of the few formations that everyone seems to play. That's the other one. Do we look at going 5 at the back with 2 or 1 wide centre-back and a ball-playing defender? I kind of want to try it, you know. So with that tactic set up then, this is what they reckon is probably going to be our best 11. So we've got Bender in goal, Cabango, Williams and Bennett at the back, Laird and Manning on the fullback positions, Grimes and Cham in the middle, Patterson and Whittaker on the wings, and Pirro as our striker. Whittaker is the lowest star rating at 2 stars, so we maybe need to look at bringing in another left winger. Possibly we might have somebody else knocking about the squad. So this is actually quite interesting. Morgan Whittaker, who we reckon is probably our best left winger, even though he's not particularly great. We can see, obviously, we've got the new values. He's potentially worth between 2.1 and 8.4 million. That's pretty sizable. That is definitely a large sum of money. If we go to tactics and we just click on, let's say, Reece Bennett, hover over it here, it says best role and duty, ball-playing defender on defend as a centre-back. That's where he should be playing, which is exactly where we're going to be putting him. Which means, if we go for a central defender on cover, we can probably find somebody who might fit that role best. We've gone for Brandon Cooper, who arguably can't do that, but he kind of can. He's close enough, in my opinion. So, financially, it looks like we've got a bit of cash to spend, £2.16 million. Obviously, we know roughly maybe we need to get ourselves a new left winger. There's a whole bunch of stuff here which I'm not going to bother reading. I'm going to try and work it out myself. So this is Harrison Burrows, 19-year-old winger from Peterborough. Have they literally just decided that I needed a left winger anyway? And they've gone, you know what, Burrows might be the one to go for. 1.5 star current ability, 5-star potential, but that's at a championship club, which means he's potentially good enough to be a championship player, which is fine. That's what we currently are, so I'm not too against that. Do we know his attributes? We do, because I've turned off attribute masking. I don't like playing with it, okay? It annoys me. So I know there are some purists out there who do like to play with attribute masking. I'm not one of them, unfortunately. Harrison Burrows, then. I think it's an advanced playmaker is what we play on that left-hand side, and arguably he kind of fits the bill to a certain extent. Anticipation and decisions aren't necessarily the best, but again, we're a championship side. So the player is fully scouted, which is actually pretty handy to know, which means his transfer value of 130k to 5.2 million is pretty accurate, but we don't know what the agent says. This could ruin everything. We're just going to ask the agent. You're right, buddy. Joe Fraser, are you a boxer by chance? I hope you're not. Anyway, I heard you wanted to talk. Yep, let's go. We're keen on signing Harrison Burrows. A rough idea. We're keen on signing him. And I'd like to know more about what the demands would be. Looking at a few players. We're looking at a few players. I'm pleased to hear that you have some interest in Harrison. That is good, although he's only slightly interested in joining. You're not prepared to tell us anything at this stage. Peterborough wants somewhere between 650k and 6.4 million. That's quite a lot. Okay, thanks. I do have some concerns. I'll do some thinking. I feel like his value might be a bit steep there. We've also got Grady Diangana, who my scout says sign him whatever the cost. 9.2 million to 13.5 million is probably too much, isn't it? Let's be honest. We've got £2 million to spend. Now, this one is fairly interesting, although salary-wise might be a bit steep. We can ask the agent about Charlie Masunda, and what do we think? I mean, we're looking at a few players. I imagine 17.25 to 25.5. That's not bad. Those demands sound fine. Yeah. I will say that. We're putting an offer. Okay, I'm not committing to signing Mazundo, but we're going to go for... That's an inquiry. Transfer offer. That's what... Yeah, I know how transfers work. So £1.5 million, it's going to be a huge amount of our budget, but they're going to accept that, obviously, so we'll just do a suggest. There we go. We might need to try and offload somebody to try and cover some of his wages. Right, I've just clicked on the data hub, which I know isn't available until we've played a few matches, but literally... we don't have enough analysis team, apparently. We've got 4 out of 3 performance analysts, and we've got no head performance analyst. So I feel like we should probably get one of those. Where does he come from? Is it coaching? Head performance analyst. We'll have an advert for one of them. Right, I'm going to click continue now. It's been about 25 minutes. I've not really done anything other than click on buttons and put in an offer for Charlie Mazunda. Straight away, we have got to the contract stage for Mazunda, a fringe player. I mean, I feel like he's better than Fringe, but we'll, if he wants Fringe, that's fine. We can offer him 21, which is, I can't remember, what did the agent say? It was like 16, wasn't it? Was it 16k? Can we speak to the agent again? Can we find out more? What did the agent say? Estimated wage is 16.25 to 21.5, which I don't know whether that is still relevant or not, whether that's just something they're guessing. We're going at 16. Or we're going at 17.5. Let's go 17.5. I want to give you a slightly longer contract. Right, he's immediately bumped it back straight to 25. Let's go 20. I literally can't give you any more than 21. He's okay with 21. I feel like we might have been had here. We've got our first staff meeting. So, how do these work? I have no idea how any of these things work. So we've got Luke Williams and Matt Gill, who are here from the coaching perspective. I believe that Ryan Bennett would make a much better captain than Matt Grimes. Okay, I mean, Ryan Bennett is he's older, I guess. Is it going to upset Matt Grimes? I feel like Matt Grimes isn't a terrible captain. He is wanted by a few teams. Maybe we upset him and maybe sell him. No, stop thinking of doing that. No, we'll just move on. Just remind me in a week. Tell me again in a week. Corey Smith would make a good vice captain. Tell me again in a week. We'll deal with that later on. Individual training. This is something that I never really do. I always forget to do this, so this could be quite helpful. They recommend putting everyone to do free kick training. Sure. I don't know why everyone should do it, but fair enough. Player trait alterations. This is the one. This is the big one. So, Joel Latibaldieri, might be his name. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm really sorry. They recommend that I should start training him to do what? What are we doing? Players way out of trouble. Sure, why not? Michael Obafemi. I know very much about Michael Obafemi. Obviously, being a Southampton fan, I'm kind of upset that he left the club, really. What do they recommend? Start knocking the ball past? Definitely, because he's really, really fast and has no first touch. So I'm okay with that. Joel Pirro, what do they recommend? First time shots? Sure, why not? Yeah, go for it. Do all the things. Got some coaching assignments? Yeah, go for that. Why not? Weaker foot training for Obafemi, Grimes and Flynn Downs? Sure, why not? Transfer policy? We've got good youth facilities. Sorry, great youth facilities. Youth recruitment's not amazing, but it's pretty good. They just recommend that I should be using our youth intake, which is fine. Probably want to do that anyway. We're into the recruitment section, obviously. So, players to offer contracts to you. Cameron Congreve, Evan Watts, and Joe Cotterill. What's Congreve like? He's not bad for a 17-year-old, is he? So from here, I can delegate these things. So I might delegate that to the under-23s. So John Gray, the head of youth development, is going to offer contracts to those guys. I'll do it for first-team players, so that's fine. Players to transfer list is Jamie Searle. Why are we selling it? He's not very good. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree. High potential players then. Liam Walsh is 23 years old. He's apparently one of our best prospects. Does look pretty decent for a championship level player, and only 23. It's out injured though, which isn't ideal. We've also got Latibaldieri, who is again looks pretty good. No nonsense centre back though, which don't really like the sound of that. And Ben Cabango, again another youngster who apparently spent some time on loan at TNS. He looks very good. Why have I never heard of this man? And finally, staffing, which I'm just gonna go. Yeah, you know, I don't know. That scared me. I thought for some reason I could suddenly control whether I was the manager or not. So we can get... I just want... Someone else can do all the stuff. I'm not interested in doing the stuff. That's for when we do a nice big save. A few days later, and I've had a quick look at the free transfer market to see if there are any good players that we can get on permanent deals, and we've brought in 5 on trial. The first one is Jack Wilshere, and I'm thinking... kind of fits the role on the left-hand side, doesn't he? He genuinely fits that role. Obviously, it's Jack Wilshere, so injuries will be somewhat of a concern for him. But he's still only 29, and he doesn't really want a huge amount of money. I don't know what a huge amount of money is for Swansea, but he doesn't seem to want something massive. We're offering 15. Let's meet in the middle at 16, and maybe Jack Wilshere could be joining the Swans. Another player who I'm taking a look at is former Swansea fullback, Neil Taylor. Obviously spent a few seasons at Aston Villa as well. Again, he's not massively old, is he? He's 32, but will he fit into the squad? He's going to be our 3rd best left back. I want to know if can we select left wing back? Is he going to be... He's still 3rd best left wing back, which isn't terrible because Manning... I guess Manning is ours, isn't he? Ethan Laird is on loan. Bidwell, he's not... We've got a lot of left-backs. We don't need him. Andre Wisdom is another player that I'm looking at. But again, I don't know whether we need him. As a right-back, Ethan Laird, Carl Norton. I mean, he'll be our 3rd choice right-back. But I would argue he's more of a centre-back. Which, I guess... I mean, that's comparing to right-backs. It's a beta. It's a beta. Don't worry about it. It's always going to compare him to the right-backs. You know what? Do you want a huge amount of money? He wants a squad player. That's fine, we can give you a squad player. We can't afford you because we're buying Jack Wilshere. Or we could get Kevin Morales. I know he's 33, but again, he plays that role very, very well. Let's try and sign him, see what he wants. He wants to be the vice-captain. I'm sorry, Kevin, that's not going to happen. What do you want? You want 14k. You also want 14k. I mean, let's do some budgets. Right, we've rearranged some numbers. If we can get him for 12... That's, 14 again. Let's meet in the middle. 13k. Look at that. And finally, Gio Dos Santos, who I don't think we really want, actually. I'm mainly looking at him because he's Gio Dos Santos. He's only 32, so he's still reasonably young when it comes to footballers in general. As a right winger, though, he will be our best right winger. Do we do that as well? Do we need Gio Dos Santos? For £7,000 a week, I feel like we might do. I've come to my senses and I've cancelled the Charlie Masunda deal. He was going to be getting paid too much money and costing us too much money. Oh, the scouting update looks a little bit nicer. Doesn't it? Does it? I don't know. Does it look nicer? I'm not quite sure. What I want to see is I want to see his attributes. I don't want to see his pros and cons. I want to see his numbers, which we can't easily see. Fair enough. We've also got some recommendations. Free transfer Omar Niassi, who obviously, well, I say obviously, he was at Everton, didn't score many goals. He was at Huddersfield, apparently, didn't play any games. Kevin McDonald is a 32-year-old defensive midfielder, formerly of Fulham. Martel Taylor-Crossdale, who seems to be one for the future, I guess. I have just noticed on the right-hand side we've got recommendations. So Nabil Bentaleb is a definite signing, and I agree. I agree with that. We're not even going to consider it. We're just going to put in an offer for Nabil Bentaleb because he's very good at football, and he's probably too expensive for us. I mean, I'm throwing everything to try and sign Bentaleb here. And we've got him to agree to a contract at £27,500 a week. Why are we doing this? I mean, the minimum fee release is low. It's very low, but if he goes for that money, that's just money in our bank, isn't it? I am now about £40,000 over my wage budget as well, so possibly we need to look at selling some players, or maybe hope possibly Dos Santos or Morales don't join. If we're buying Wilshere as a left-sided player, left-sided winger, I guess, Morales and Wilshere, we don't need both. We don't need both. I'm going to keep the offers in at the moment until something comes back, and hopefully one of them basically doesn't accept. There's the first deal done. Jack Wilshere is in the club. Free transfer, £16,000 a week, which is actually pretty slim. We are going to make sure we are training him up not as a DM. We're going to train him up as an attacking midfielder on the left-hand side, as an advanced playmaker on support. Just you. I need to make sure you're doing that. That is definitely your position, isn't it? Advanced playmaker on support. That's good. Dos Santos has been delayed due to getting a work permit, which I suspect he probably will. And Lee Smelt is a goalkeeping coach. A couple more days later, and we have completed the Gio Dos Santos deal. I'm not 100% sold on this, but he's in the club. I think he's going to be alright, isn't he? He's going to be fine. I want to click there to compare him with everyone else. Apparently we click slightly further higher. So Dos Santos, Wilshere and Michael Obafemi are our best right wingers. Dos Santos probably will be our best right winger. Bentaleb's also waiting for his work permit, and also we missed out on Kevin Morales, who has gone to Celtic, I think. He has. I mean, he will do once he gets his work permit. Bentaleb got his work permit, but we don't have the budget. We can adjust. We can adjust the budget. That's fine. Nabil Bentaleb is in. If there are any Swansea fans watching this video, could you just tell me whether buying Dos Santos, Wilshere and Bentaleb is a good idea? Do you need midfielders? Because that's what I've done. A few more days have passed and we've done our first bit of selling, and Matt Grimes is the man to leave the club. Signing for Premier League Aston Villa, £6.5 million up front, potentially going all the way up to £8 million once you include all of the add-ons. Unfortunately, Exeter did pick up some of that money, so they've picked up 650k, potentially another 100k, I think, once they include all the other bits. But we have now basically fixed our money once again. We probably need to shift a little bit more of this into the wages. There we go. That's good. We've got £2.5 million to spend, and we've got some wage budget. We are at the first game of the season, and it is going to be away from home. Ewood Park against Blackburn Rovers. And we are sticking with the 5-2-3 wide back wide tiki-taka formation straight out of the box. We have got a few other formations set up. A similar one as controlled possession. And then we've also got the 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, which is basically what I'm going to go for. If we're losing the game with about 20 minutes to play, we're just going to change up to the gegenpress and hopefully beat them with gegenpressing energy and whatnot. Anyway, the starting 11 that we're going to go for is not what I really had hoped for because we've got quite a lot of injuries. It's going to be Bender in goal, Williams, Bennett and Cooper at the back, Latibaldiri, or Joel is what I'm going to call him, and Manning as the fullbacks. A debut for Bentaleb alongside Ncham in the middle, Whittaker and Wilshere on the wings, and Joel Pirot will be our striker today. As a complete forward, we don't have anyone who is really capable of doing it. We've got lots of people who are somewhat capable, but nobody who is actually 100% naturally capable. If we scroll down, you can see here, we don't have Norton, Cabango, Laird, Walsh, Fulton, and Michael Obafemi isn't fully match fit at the moment, so we are very, very down to bare bones. I feel like Patterson should be on the bench. Is that just me? Patterson sounds like he should be playing for us. Maybe we don't need Dos Santos and Cullen, or do we? I don't know. I'm going to drop Jan Dander, because we've got Dos Santos who can play on either flank. Patterson can also play on either flank as well. So, you know what? We've got numbers. Well, this seems to have changed, but has it? I don't know if it has changed. We've got this little bit down here, but I feel like that is often there as well. I'm not quite sure. We've got the lovely little stadium background, obviously, with our lovely salmon pink / orange away kit. I'm not quite sure what colour it's going to be. Apparently, after the match, we wreck this place, which is lovely to see. I'm going to just say go out there and impress me. I'm not really sure what to expect from this Swansea team. Obviously, brand new match engine as well. I say brand new. I don't know if it's fully brand new, but quite a lot of graphical changes. I need to make sure we shouldn't be on extended. We should be on key. We should crank that up by 1, possibly. That might be the speed that we're going to be playing at. I might need to speed up a little bit more as well. I don't know whether anything's going to happen from this first highlight, because it might have just been the extended highlights. We've got the ball through Jack Wilshere. It wasn't anything. I also don't like this. There's not enough information on 100%. I need to change that to about 95, and then we can have Swansea and our opponent's stats on there. A corner comes in from the Blackburn players. Lenihan heads over the bar. 13 minutes played in the Championship. So far, looking not great. We've had more possession, but no shots. Hull apparently are just absolutely loving life in FM22. 4-0 up after about 20 minutes. Manning to Wilshere on the left-hand side. He's been tackled. Not ideal. Wilshere's still there, though, making a nuisance of himself. Ryan Nyambe down the right-hand side. Finds Dolan. 3 in the box. It's Ben Brereton Diaz. And Adrian, his effort goes well over the bar of Bender. Apparently, we've had a shot. We didn't see it. We've had a couple of shots. We haven't seen either of them. It is all Blackburn at the moment. Pickering on the left-hand side. Is he going to whip the cross? And he does. It's cleared by Cooper. I'm starting to see a little bit of lagging in the match engine. I don't know whether that's because I've bumped the settings too high. Joel with the ball. Back to Whittaker. All the way back again to Williams. Going the wrong way, lads. Bennett to Nabil Bentaleb. Now Pirro on the halfway line. Whittaker again with the ball. To Latabaldiri. Joel. Just call him Joel, Stuart. It's easier to do that. Bentaleb to Williams. We're passing it around, which is good to see. We've gone for tiki-taka. And we've gone back to the goalkeeper. Right. Not quite sure what's going on here. Cooper. Are we going to try and make a little bit of headway? The centre-back, who the wide... Is he a wide... He is a wide centre-back, isn't he? I don't know whether he's on attack, though. Manning to Ncham to Cooper, very far forward. It's towards Whittaker at the back post. Takes a touch, takes a couple more touches, and Morgan Whittaker scores our first ever goal in FM22. And if you told me that at the start of playing this game, I wouldn't even know who he was. And that Whittaker goal was the last action of the first half. And, yeah, pretty happy with how things are going. Our wide centre-back in Cooper. I think that means he's got the assist because his name's there, which is nice to see. That's a nice little change. He's on a 7.8. Whittaker on a 7.1. I'm not sure what these lines are for. What does this... What do these mean? There's just straight line. Anyway, half-time. Let's go in and have a word with the team. Things are going well. You're capable of better. In the second half, I do need to try and get Gio Dos Santos onto the pitch because he's not particularly match fit. I also need to look at bringing off possibly Joel Pirro and maybe Wilshere and possibly even Bennett. Bennett's not really doing a lot either. The second half has... nothing's happened, has it? So we're going to bring on Cullen. We're also going to take off Jack Wilshere for Gio Dos Santos. I would really like to take off Whittaker, but obviously he scored the only goal of the game so far. Final 15 minutes of the match, and we've actually got a highlight in the second half. It's taken quite a while to get here. Ryan Nyambe with the ball. Goes backwards to Lenihan. Across to Ayala. Loads and loads of space for the defender to run forward. He's just lumped outfield instead. And Bennett goes all the way back to Bender. Williams. Long ball over the top. Cullen's not going to go for it. Whittaker, come on. Use your pace, lad. Use your pace. Pickering goes all the way back to Kaminski in the Blackburn goal. He's kicked it long. A header down from Sam Gallagher. Adrian through ball to Buckley. I feel like there's a goal coming and I feel like it's going to go Blackburn's way. The cross comes in. Adrian's headed effort goes over Bender's bar. Still 1-0 to Swansea. Free kick for Pickering. Now Nyambe. Long range effort. Bender with a good save. I don't know how much he managed to see of that. We've got 7 minutes of normal time to play. A corner for Blackburn. Pickering's gone over to take it. Cooper heads the ball clear. Good head clear. Are we going to get there first as well? We do through Cullen. Hold up the play, buddy. Hold up the play. He's gone all the way back to Gio Dos Santos, and that ended the highlight. We're going to do our final change, and I think we're going to take off Manning for Bidwell. Manning hasn't really done a huge amount. Neither has Joel on the opposite flank. Bennett has gone up to a 6'7". He's flickering between a 6'5 and a 6'7". It is full time at Ewood Park, and genuinely was not expecting to win our first game of the season and to win my first ever match in FM22, but we've managed to do it with Swansea. So post-match news then, apparently we had quite a few debuts. I mean, 3 of them I definitely knew. Reece Williams was a debut, Dos Santos and Cham Wilshere, and also Nabil Bentaleb all making their debut in a 1-0 victory. I'm happy with that. And those 3 points then do put us currently 6th place in the table. Obviously, 1 game in, can't read too much into it, but I'm very, very happy with the start. That's going to do it for this episode. Next episode, we're going to go a little bit further, probably into September. What I might do is 1 episode per month, potentially until the end of the season. There'll be 2 matches in the next episode as well. Thank you very much for watching this one. If you did enjoy, do please remember to leave a like. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying these videos. I'll be back with more FM22 as soon as I can get it recorded. Thanks for watching.